Hey everyone, welcome to season 3 of Not Your Average Bucket List by Only in Your State. I am joined once again by our co host, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Marissa.
So, season 3, we are kicking off what we're calling the State Exploration Challenge. This
Yes.
is essential stops for any road trip in all of our chosen states. We have about 15 of them, I think, that we're tackling this season. And today we are kicking off with your home state, Ohio. We're,
Yeah, I tricked you into making an itinerary for me, and you never caught on. Amazing.
darn it. So you're born and raised in Ohio, is that correct?
Yes,
And you
correct.
you moved around, you traveled a whole bunch,
Hmm.
and so you know all there is to know about Ohio. No pressure.
Uh-oh. You're
Um,
setting me up for failure here.
I mean, I've never been.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm all about learning this episode. I'm going to sort of let you take the lead on this one. I'm sure you've been to a handful of these places on this list. But
Yes.
I guess what we want to do essentially is just let the listeners know, like, let's discuss what our goal is for each of these episodes that we're recording for season 3, and like what we hope that listeners and readers of the articles will get out of this experience.
Yes. I think that sounds like a great plan. First, let's loosen up. Loosey goosey. Okay. Icebreaker question.
Oh no.
Favorite sandwich you've ever eaten?
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is going to sound really lame, but when I was living in New York and I was going to college, there was a little deli that was under where I was living. It was tiny. This was before I was plant-based, and it was a roast beef sandwich with on white bread with mayo, but it was like boar's head roast beef, and it was so good, and it was like a huge like.
Like crunchy roll or soft bread?
So it was like medium, I guess I
Like
would say.
a hoagie bun or like a
Yeah,
roll?
yeah, like a
Yeah.
Kaiser, good old fashioned Kaiser roll.
Nice. Did you have a bodega cat that you pet every day when you got this?
Oh, I wish I would have
All
loved
right.
the experience. Where did this come from, and what is your favorite sandwich? I guess.
I don't know. I thought like, hey, we need to warm up a little bit, and I just knew you like sandwiches. So I'm like, oh, you must have a list.
Actually, it's funny because one popped into my head, but as I was talking, I said the other one because the other one is that's
So
a
what's
whole
the
other.
runner up? Okay, okay.
That's a
We should.
yeah.
We have an
That's a
entire season dedicated to best sandwiches in every. Honestly, maybe there's like a best of season where we talk about the best certain
ooh,
thing.
love that. Season
Uh,
4, favorite sandwiches. What
so
is
for
your favorite
me, I love I love because I don't get it so very often, but a good halloumi sandwich with like
sandwich?
like grilled halloumi, arugula, balsamic, maybe some like onions or something. I don't know, but I never think to make it. And yeah, I love going to a place where if they have halloumi on the menu, I'm ordering it
Mm.
immediately. Got some
Do they
bread
have a lot
cheese.
of
Yeah,
it's Greek, a Greek cheese? Or
I
no?
think
Okay. Do they have a lot of
it's
places by you that sell halloumi or no?
no, which is why I love it so much. Um, But I thought did want to start off with a food question because I wanted to think about road trips. Like, what do you get on a road trip? How are we preparing for this? We talk about snacks, talk about tunes. Like, what are you doing when we're preparing for this ultimate, like Ohio exploration challenge? I just immediately go to food. But granted, I think about food no matter what. You could ask me about how like my car's running. I'm like, oh, I went to get food earlier, so must be fine.
No, it's
So
actually a
yeah.
good it was a great question because part of my road trip essentials always involves stopping for a public sub because I live in Florida and
That pub sub.
right. So that it's funny that you said favorite sandwich because without fail, if it's like minimum 3 hour road trip, I'll get a pub sub to kind of hold me
Yeah.
over. And yeah.
Nothing is more satisfying than the weird guilty pleasures of like car food. No one's judging you. I could be eating like pistachios and jerky and like a Monster Energy drink and no one's going to look at me sideways.
Right. Yes. You just finished your giant cup of coffee and you're gonna throw back an energy drink. Nobody cares. There are no rules on a road trip.
No rules except for this one. We have to follow the exploration challenge that we set out for you. So back
Yeah.
on topic, we
Yes.
are basically putting together this custom road trip where you can pick and choose from both this list that we're going to be talking about in this episode, but also a customizable map that we're going to be sharing with you that has even more locations than what we're talking about today. So, from fun stops, need to sees, and what the heck is that? We have it on the map. Might not be talking about it today, but yeah, it's in. The idea was really we just want to show everyone the spots you need to stop and see in every state. I mean, I think is that a good summary,
Yeah,
Marissa?
I think that's perfect because also it's like to me, summer is great for road trip travel, but also fall is where it's at, in my opinion.
Yes.
You
Yep.
don't have to blast the AC. You have great music. You can roll the windows down, and you just have those. Maybe it's not a week long vacation, but you have those weekends, day trips that you can kind of get out and explore. I mean, especially I'm assuming Ohio fall foliage is probably stunning. So,
It is 60
right.
degrees out today.
Yeah.
Every window's open. I just want to drive somewhere, so
Ay, ay, ay.
it is the best.
I'm in
Yeah.
the wrong state. Well, yeah. So essentially, we're going to also have a companion article
Mhm.
for you on onlyiniourstate.com. This is going to give you a breakdown of all these places that we're mentioning and some more. And then also, we have right now, we're not going to go in any particular order of the attractions, destinations, whatever we're going to talk about, but we do have a custom curated map
Yes.
that visitors can use to plan out their trip depending on their own starting point.
I will say that if you do follow our path, then I am deeply impressed and you should call in and let us know how it went.
That would be great. Somebody could
All
do a
right.
vlog.
Oh my gosh, that I think that if we can for follow-up content, I'm going to do my best to do just that. Maybe not in the exact order, but
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
All right. So
Oh,
let's kick it off. The
yes.
first stop on this epic Ohio exploration road trip, Hocking Hills. So, also correct me if I'm wrong with any of these because you're going to be like the point person for all of
Uh-oh.
yeah. So, Hocking Hills, located in southeastern Ohio. So, from my understanding, Hocking Hills is a town. It's also a state park. Is this true? Okay. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like the place to go that I've heard over the past few years. It's had this resurgence of tourism. And
Yes. It Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I first heard it because I came across this Instagram page of these houses at Hocking Hills that it's like an Airbnb experience. Gorgeous. They have their own private waterfall. And I was like, man, I really want to go and visit this place. And then so I started looking into Hocking Hills as just a destination to go. Seems like a all-encompassing kind of place.
Actually, now that you say it, I'm pretty sure it is Hocking Hill State Park in Hocking County. I think the actual town closest is Logan,
Okay.
I think. But yes, it is the lifestyle down there. So I whenever I refer to it, I would say, "Oh, I'm just going to Hocking Hills." But yeah, it is
Okay.
absolutely gorgeous. I really want to say that the cabin rental game really in the internet age has really made the popularity explode because people see like
Yeah.
these photos and Instagram shots and they're like, "Oh my god, this is beautiful." And it's right
Yeah.
here in Ohio.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me a little bit of like upstate New York,
Mhm.
like Hudson Valley ish. But yeah, so basically, Hocking Hills is our number one stop for people to go. Check out the state park, check out Old Man's Cave, Ash Cave, Cedar
Yes.
Falls. You have rock formations there. Um, and then hiking trails, forests, you name it. It's kind of like a day in nature. And yeah, that's the number one on our list.
I
Kicking
I
it off.
I will say that if you're going to visit Hocking Hill State Park, if you're going in the fall, you need to book early because that place is swamped in the fall because of all of the like them peepers, the leaf peeping and and the hiking, is so much better because it's not, there's not so many bugs, it's not humid. And I will say if you're going to something like Ash Cave, Old Man's Cave, Rock House, things like that, if you go in peak hours, expect a line and it's not exactly a quiet, calm experience. So go early. like as soon as you wake up, as soon as the park opens, get in there, and then you'll have a slightly better experience. Um, all
Pro tip.
right. Yeah, I'm full of tips today. Maybe. All right. Number 2 on our list is the wilds. And this is one I actually haven't visited. And this is in Cumberland, Ohio. I've always wanted to. It's an open air conservation conservatory, an animal conservatory with tons of animals like rhinos, giraffes, zebras, things like that. But it's an open air drive through park. So it's not a zoo necessarily, but it does offer a lot to be said for Ohio. Like it's something that you wouldn't expect to be here. And there's not only that conservatory area where the animals are and you can visit, but there are accommodations that are really unique. Like I know that we've written about some yurts and things that are actually on the property. And so if you wanted to go to the wilds and then stay overnight, I think it's called maybe not maybe Hilltop Resorts. I don't know. I'll follow back. It's on the map, but you can stay there and enjoy the animals, zipline, have adventures, and make it a full weekend experience. And I think honestly, it'd be a great stop for any road trip with the kids, without the kids. It's just a fun, unique place to stop.
Yeah, it looked like it was a really cool spot. There aren't too many places I feel like you can have a safari experience that is also a conservation center. And this
Yes,
I read was over covering over 9,000 acres of a,
it's huge.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, and it might come to some as a surprise, but there's a lot of parts of Ohio that are big and expansive, and not. I'm from the more Appalachian foothills, so it seems hilly. Like, how would that work? But no, there's a ton of land here, and it's not. Don't expect like typical zoo animals because they are fit for this land and acreage. So you're not going to find like I don't know like pandas sitting in the middle of Ohio. It's more so like camels, deer, some, I'm getting up a list for us, ostrich, zebra, giraffes, things that with hooves and that are cute and fuzzy that I cannot pronounce. So yeah, it looks great.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so moving along, we are heading to Cuyahoga Valley National Park. This is shout out to one of our World of Good brands um, team members, Catherine, for this one. She's kind of in that general area. She always tells me how beautiful it is living up there. So between Cleveland and Akron,
Akron.
cool.
I did it.
Um,
I pronounced it right. And you didn't. This is great. Not that it's a competition or
I wish
anything, but
we should like edit the video to have like ding Akron. So
yep.
this is even bigger than the wilds. This is 33,000 acres and basically it's a national park. So this is your one-stop shop for being outside.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people in Ohio, I don't know if they realize like this is our national park. It
Yeah.
is the place. It's beautiful. I love it so much. I've been so many times biking, hiking, taking dog walks, just doing the bike and ride train. It is honestly gorgeous. It's a lot of fun.
Is there a so I know that most national parks, do you have a national parks pass? Is there a fee that you have to pay to get in just for like a couple hours?
Oh no, you can just wander in. It is expansive. Like there's actually a trail, so the Ohio Erie Canal Towpath Trail that comes down by my house. You could technically take the trail up into the park from
Oh wow.
where I am. And no, there's you don't have to pay a fee to get in. There are tons of overlooks and ledges that are just like the Ledges Trail, and you can just like basically wander as you will. There's also glacial rocks and cool little caves and structures you can kind of walk through. So it's really beautiful with a lot of great overlooks.
Yeah, and I'm sure like no matter what season you go, it's going to be stunning.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it so much. It's a great place to just take a walk. So
Cool. Nice.
yeah, I will say for being in Ohio, it's not as challenging as some of the other national parks. But it is still one of those things where you could come across, a bobcat or a black bear. So be prepared just because you might be able to be very close to Akron or Cuyahoga Falls. It's still in the middle of a national park. So,
Mm,
yeah.
yes.
Alrighty. So, number 4, a little bit more north of Cuyahoga National Park, is Sandusky, Ohio, which is home to Cedar Point. And this is a bit of a departure from what we talked about so far because you might be taking a road trip, but it's not to something beautiful and natural, but rather a theme park, a thrill ride attraction place. Um, words are fun. So yeah, it's a great spot, and it's one of those theme parks that is famous for Ohio, famous for the United States, and even famous for the world. I know that theme park enthusiasts from around the globe travel to visit Cedar Point, and even the folks that are working there. So some of the like the staff members and things, like the college kids who are working the rides, a lot of them are from all over, and they just travel to come and work at Cedar Point. So if you're looking for thrill rides, they're there. Some of the biggest and best coasters in the world. And but they also have a brand new pavilion with seafood and drinks, and there's a water park attached to it, so you could stay at the water park. And if you're not into rides, you can just lay in a lazy river and chill out while your family goes and rides the rides. No more bag holding for you. So yeah, it's one of those things that I think I've taken America's rock and roller coaster for granted, but it is just a really fun time. I even went this summer and it was an absolute blast.
Cool.
There's some brand new rides that are fantastic. There's one called Valraven, which it has one of those 90-degree, well, more than 90-degree, like drops to where you come over the rise as you're going up and then you tilt all the way down so you can see it. And it's terrifying and absolutely so fun. So if you
Cool.
are into thrill rides, head up to Sandusky, Ohio. You can get a day pass, park, go in, go out, and ride a couple of rides. So it's a place you definitely should visit if you're taking a trip through Ohio.
Were when you were growing up, was this like could like schools do field trips there? Was that it like that kind
I
of
think
place?
that's the first time I actually went was through a
Yeah,
school field trip. Yeah.
yeah. We had some of those in New Jersey. We would go to Hershey Park or Dorney Park,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, you had that go-to theme park that was just like you would
Yeah.
wait all year for.
So did you ride the rides or were you holding the bags?
No, I Sarah,
Look.
I rode all the rides. Maybe minus one, but
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I did. I rode all the rides. Yes. I was
Look,
fearless back then. I don't know what happened, but
and there's no shame. Well, I think it's the prefrontal cortex finally coalescing, but I get
danger,
it.
danger.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on to another stop on the shores of Lake Erie, Marblehead Lighthouse. Have you ever been?
No, but it's along the area like up near Vermilion and Sandusky, and it's just part of that area that looks beautiful. I'd love to go.
I love a good lighthouse, especially like a historic lighthouse.
Oh, yeah, that Marissa, she loves a good lighthouse. That's what I know.
You know what? There's no shame in maritime heritage, okay?
Very true. Very true.
I just love the fact that, and maybe it's just like the introvert in me, that people would go and man these lighthouses. That was their job. They lived there. They would like live and breathe
Mm-hmm.
lighthouse. And they had such an important job bringing these ships to safety, keeping an eye out for storms and
Yeah.
such. And, obviously lighthouses nowadays are not as huge, but this one, Marblehead Lighthouse, was built back in 1822. It's the oldest operating lighthouse in the Great Lakes region. And this is just an iconic place to go visit. There's a museum that you can also kind of learn the history about the area.
Yeah.
And, bring a camera. I mean, this is the type of place where you want to get a ton of photos. You have panoramic views, and yeah, it just looks like a beautiful place to kind of spend an afternoon, right on the water's edge.
And I will say that the Erie Coast is something that takes me by surprise every time because being, in the middle of the country, you don't expect to see such beautiful views. And yeah, it's just going up to the lake is something special, and definitely going to the Marblehead Lighthouse is amazing, or would be amazing. Although I don't think I can ever go to a lighthouse without now thinking about that the A24 film. Have you seen it? The
Which
light,
one?
the
With
one with
Willem Dafoe, and yeah,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's rough.
Forever forever changed. Anyway, Um, while we're up north by Lake Erie, you should also head over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. And if you love music, love museums, and or love Cleveland, Ohio, this is going to be a great stop for you. They have rotating exhibits, and it's just fantastic to see a piece of history, or of musical history in front of you. And I know that I didn't get to see the Beatles exhibit. I did, I think, swing by whenever they were doing Prince. And yeah, they just have they have inductee ceremonies every year, and they're not necessarily in Cleveland, Ohio, and nor can I necessarily blame them of shipping everyone over here to celebrate. But sometimes they do, and it is a lot of fun, and it's something that, you know, we're gonna hit another Hall of Fame on the list, but it's always surprising to me that Cleveland, Ohio is such a key state for so many really cool things. So
Yeah, not to
no,
say
no,
anything.
no, it's all right.
So I had kind of the same. I was like, man, there's some really cool places in Ohio I've never been, and I guess essentially that is why we're doing this season in particular,
Yeah.
because when you think about it, all these places we're talking about and all the handful of Hall of Fames that Ohio has, it just makes it one of those states that maybe you wouldn't initially think, hey, I want to take a vacation here. But
Hmm.
once you see all the things that you can do, like
Yes.
I think that's sometimes the most exciting part of only in your state as a whole, is that it's just introducing you to all of these different things that you can do that you really wouldn't have considered normally.
Absolutely. And I cannot wait until the season is going and we have people reporting of like, oh my gosh, I've hit every one of these 100% completion. I didn't even have to travel anywhere new. I already did this. Like, that's fantastic. And yeah, I'm excited to see.
Yes, agreed. Cool. So we are moving along to, so also just to let everybody know, on our social media page, our Facebook page for Only in Ohio, we polled our audience. We polled the readers. We asked what were those quintessential spots that we should talk about. This one was one of the most popular responses. And it wasn't until I looked into it that I was just like, man, this is a really cool place. So the Tecumseh, so
Tecumseh,
Tecumseh sounds
maybe?
better. So Tecumseh
Maybe? I don't know.
Outdoor Drama Theater. This is an just first of all, an outdoor theater in general to me is just like
Hmm.
a wonderful experience. I would for sure add this to my list. Um, but this is also a historical spot and one of Ohio's longest running and most well known outdoor dramas. And it's still running to this day. Um, I'm probably going to butcher this too, but it's situated in the woods near Chillicothe,
Chillicothe?
Chillicothe. And basically, it's just you'll feel as in the audience you're watching this, and I would assume because I've been to outdoor theaters before in New York, and it's basically you're adding another layer to the theater experience. It's more of an
Hmm.
immersive experience. You also are just like, stepping back into a different time period where outdoor theaters were kind of all the rage, which I think is very cool.
I've never been to this one, but I there was a local one down near where I grew up called Trumpet in the Land, and I thought the concept of an outdoor theater was just so wholesome and
Yeah.
cool, and it definitely adds another layer to seeing theater. So anytime there's an opportunity for an outdoor play or musical, I'm all there. It's so fun.
Same. Yeah, this one sounds like a lot of fun. So definitely adding this one to the list for sure.
And now we're back to another Hall of Fame. And I think we mentioned this before on our 10 best things to do is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that's located in Canton, Ohio. And every year there is an enshrinement festival that celebrates the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all of the new inductees. So NFL players, coaches, anyone who has been inducted or is being inducted can come, and there's like a parade, a balloon festival, all the stuff. It's a lot of fun, and it is a big deal for the area. So it brings in a lot of, tourism dollars and business, and that's really, really great for Canton. And it's just cool. Okay, look, I I enjoy sports, but not to the level of necessarily knowing a lot about, say, Maybe who was on the Cleveland Browns in 1997? That's a great question. I'm not sure, but I do think it's really cool to visit the Football Hall of Fame. It's been revamped over the years. They have a lot of cool interactive exhibits, and they even added this Hall of Fame village in addition to the museum. So you can go and visit the museum, do all the fun stuff inside, and then even maybe watch a game. So, like the Hall of Fame games or local teams can play at this brand new stadium that they built. But there's also like this fun little adventure park next door with like a little mini zip line, a Ferris wheel, some restaurants.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really fun what they've done, and they're actually building a water park too. So they're
wow.
hoping to make it an attraction. So come celebrate football and all the sports balls. And if you have like a if you have a not the word I'm looking for, fantasy football team, it is yeah. Take your team out and have fun at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, stay the night, and maybe go party at the water park. So,
That's fun. That's fun making
yeah.
it like an all encompassing, all ages kind of place that's, even outside of football. Cause I mean, yeah, football's a huge deal in America. And
Mhm.
uh, football fans are wild. And yeah.
Yeah, I went to my very first Cleveland Browns tailgate last year, and I was shook by by how people are passionate. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
They are very passionate.
Growing up, we had the Giants were our home team, and people would tailgate, bring couches, TVs. They wouldn't even get tickets to the
Yeah,
game. They would just set
it
up,
would just be the tailgating. Yeah,
yeah, which is an experience. Yeah,
yeah. So
cool.
yeah,
Wow,
go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You don't have to tailgate or anything, and you can sit indoors with AC. But yeah, it's a good
cool.
time.
All right, so we also added a restaurant to this list, and we've actually talked about this restaurant before in our Small Town Getaways podcast season. The Golden Lamb. This is in Lebanon, Ohio. This is one of the oldest and continuously operating restaurants in the entire country, not just Ohio. And it was established in the early 1800s. It has hosted numerous celebrities, presidents, writers, you name it, they've stayed there. And it's known for just its classic American cuisine, just good old fashioned comfort food, steaks, chicken, seafood, and they have a lot of period decor. So kind of just adds to the charm. But and also it's attached to an inn, which I think we said was haunted. I don't know. Okay, probably
I
right.
mean, oldest operating has an end. Yeah, that kind of checks out. It's been on my list to visit ever since we covered in Small Town Getaways. I haven't been to Lebanon myself, so yeah, I am looking forward to it, especially if
Yeah.
it's haunted. And it's didn't we? I wonder how close to Tecumseh it is, the outdoor drama, if it's down near Cincy.
Mm.
So
I'll have to reference the
something to
map.
think about. Okay. So going through, if you don't mind, I'm just going to combine my next two because I think it makes a bit more sense. But if you're going through Ohio, you cannot, if we were doing a road trip through Ohio, doing all these stops, you cannot skip. I had to think, you cannot skip Amish country and not, it's such a large part of Ohio and also neighboring states like Pennsylvania that just saying drive through it isn't enough. I think there should be a few stops that you should hit. One, you should go to Sugar Creek in Berlin. We spoke about Sugar Creek in our Things to Do episode about the Swiss festival that they have every year in September. And there's a not round, there is a year round Christmas store called Tis the Season that people really travel from all over the state to visit. And I grew up nearby, so I just thought like, oh yeah, everyone has this huge Christmas store. I think it's pretty unique. So always worth going. But also they have amazing food like cheese, deli items, desserts, the pies. Oh my god, strudel, all the things. And then also the like the woodworking in the area and just like some of the handmade goods you can get while driving through Amish country are just so cool and unique. And you know that it's going to be great whenever you drive up to one of these Amish buffets and they have the pie cart out in front and it's just lovely. So going through Amish country and visiting these towns and just really having a moment to, appreciate the culture is amazing. And also, if you go to Sugar Creek, you can see the world's largest cuckoo clock. So, I mean, worth it, right?
Definitely. You have to add world's largest everything, I feel like, if you're doing an essential exploration
Oh,
challenge.
and we have another one, don't we? So, I'm ready. Ready.
Okay, so we're also adding a little bit of underground fun to this road trip. Seneca Caverns. This is a natural underground limestone cave system in Bellevue, Ohio. It's one of the largest underground caverns, and you can actually take a guided tour, which I think is very cool. I always opt for a guided tour whenever I'm going to like a new place like this because I feel like you just have to kind of get the insider, knowledge, history, tips. Take a tour. You have your guides are going to be, explaining geology, history, all the unique features that maybe if you're just on your own kind of exploring, you wouldn't necessarily know.
Also, if you get stuck, someone knows you're down there. If you have a guide, they're not just going to lose track of you.
Let's hope not. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so I thought Seneca Caverns was super cool because there's also, which these things might not sound like they go hand in hand, but there's a
Okay.
maze. It's not the actual
Ah,
cave itself, but yeah. So there's a maze, but there's also a gift shop and a gem mining experience. And so just also make sure if you're going to Seneca Caves, it remains a cool, crisp 54 degrees year round. So I would say in the summer, it's a great place to cool off. Maybe in the winter, you want to add some layers or,
that's
yeah,
right in the sweet spot for me. Happy no
54.
matter. I mean, 54 to like 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I run hot, so I'm going to be sweating no matter what.
You can live
But
in the cave, essentially.
yeah,
Is cool.
that sounds
Cool,
that sounds
cool.
great. I actually have always wanted to visit Zeneca Caverns. My parents went. I remember looking through photo albums and have those like little viewfinders of like when you get the souvenir photos and you put them in the little things. But
Yes.
it terrified me. I'm like, but what if you get lost on there, and what if no one can find you, and what? So
Ah,
you
interesting.
can see my need of a guide. I was
No, yeah, for sure. That's
Caves
so
are
interesting.
concerning.
I feel like, yeah, caves are not something that scares me. I remember going to, there's like a huge cavern, I think in Arizona or New Mexico
Oh
that I went to,
yeah.
one of the massive ones. I don't know why I can't
Look it up.
think. But yeah, it doesn't freak me out. I think there was one also in where Tennessee, Rock City, and
There's a specific name of a cavern that I'm thinking of. Oh God,
yeah,
cave. Guys, this is a professional podcast. Carlsbad Cavern. That's what I'm
that's
thinking of.
exactly the one I went to. Yes,
It looks
Carlsbad.
great. Couldn't pay me. No
So
thanks.
the thing I think that creeped me out about this visiting is that it was essentially you're there, you park, you're like, oh, this is great. You see like a hole in the side of the mountain, and then you're just like, oh, that doesn't look too scary. Then you get up to the entrance and you see down and you see people walking. I love caverns. I think that's so fascinating to me personally. Not at all scary, but I have seen
Terrifying.
the
And I've
movie.
seen The Descent. I see what happens. Oh God. It looks beautiful. Please visit Seneca Caverns and tell me all about it.
Just let her know you survived at minimum,
Mm-mm.
so that maybe
Send
she'll
me
get.
a gem from the mines. That sounds great. Okay. Do you want to go next since I already took the next spot with my cuckoo clock?
Sure, yeah, we probably should have added this to our Cuyahoga Valley National Park,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll add it in the map and in the
Yes.
article on Only in Your State. But Brandywine Falls, one of the most stunning natural attractions in Ohio, and this is a gargantuan waterfall, 65 feet plunging into a gorge. It's just to me waterfalls, hiking trails to a waterfall, picturesque, tranquil. I could literally sit on the banks of a waterfall and just sit there and watch and listen all
Yeah.
day.
And there's a great overlook too. So if you are thinking, "Well, I don't want to sit on this slippery bank and watch the waterfall all day," you won't have to. There's a nice little trail that goes down, and there are a few different spots that you can check it out.
And it's open year round, which I think is very cool because the waterfalls can freeze in the
Mm-hmm.
winter, which is
Oh,
even more
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love year round attractions.
And in the winter, if maybe you're not feeling looking at a waterfall, which you absolutely should, there is Boston Mills at Brandywine. You can go snow tubing, and they have glow tubing in the winter and all the fun tubing activities.
Love
So you can
that.
snoob away at the Boston.
Wait,
Or,
wait, wait, wait. Did you just make that up, or is this really a term?
no, it's someone else made it up. It just makes me laugh.
I
Uh,
love it. Smoothing.
at
Heck yeah.
Brandywine Falls, yeah, or Brandywine, Boston Mills. So
Cool.
see the frozen waterfall and then go take a tube.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alrighty. So next, I was gonna save this for last because this is what makes me the most excited.
Uh-oh.
And
Is it haunted? Is
no, no,
it
no, 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 no.
okay?
It's not haunted. It So, Otherworld in Columbus, Ohio is an immersive art experience. Have you ever heard of like Meow Wolf or just like that? It is like a trippy interactive art experience that you go, you pay, you enter, and you have all of these interactive displays that are very beautiful and trippy. And you, it's like Burning Man style art or surrealist art that you can kind of go through and experience. And I didn't realize I knew about Meow Wolf from Area 51 in Los no 15, the thing that's not real. Um, you know what I mean. Anyway, um, I went to that one. I was like, oh my god, this is an amazing experience. And there's one right in Ohio, so this is something I think every single person in Ohio should go do. It looks so cool and so unique. And yeah, it's right here in Columbus, Ohio. So Otherworld. It looks like an amazing interactive experience. Have you ever been to like an interactive art experience like this?
I haven't. One of my very good childhood friends went to Meow Wolf in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was sending me photos of the whole experience, and it just looked so cool.
It maybe
So,
was my favorite, one of my top 10 experiences I've ever done. It is,
oh,
yeah. I love weird, trippy stuff like that. So,
yeah. Okay. And we're rounding it out. We've made it to the very end of this road trip.
and this is don't laugh. This is I saved the best for last.
Yeah, of
Are you,
course.
listeners, are you ready? Drum roll, please. On the last stop of our exploration challenge for Ohio, the ultimate road trip stops that everyone should have on their list, we have the world's largest pumpkin water tower in Circleville, Ohio. You laugh. One, water towers, great. Fascinating how they work and why they work.
Yeah.
Two, it's a pumpkin. Three, surprise, there is the Circleville Pumpkin Show every year, and it is the biggest like pumpkin celebration, I want to say, in the nation. It is so fun. You can get pumpkin pizza, pumpkin sloppy joes, pumpkin chili, pumpkin pie, all of the things pumpkin. So if you are a PSL lover, yes, you should head to Circleville in the fall. But yeah, it is it's one of those quintessential, oh, have you seen the giant cuckoo clock or the field of concrete corn or the Great Serpent Mound? Actually, that's slightly different and has actual history, not just is a thing. But, it's something to see. So, yeah.
Yeah.
End your stop with a selfie at the pumpkin water tower.
Love that. I feel like we
Yeah.
can't forget about and erase these roadside attractions that make the US so unique.
Absolutely.
Because, as great as all these like key stops that we've discussed are, we still have those like good old Americana roadside attractions that we need to keep going.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know if it's just me or it's just do you want to see the biggest like basket? Yeah, I want to see the biggest basket. Do you want to see a field of corn? Sure. A giant washboard? Absolutely. A merry-go-round museum? Take me there. I also
Yes.
think there might be like the world's largest, no, some sort of superlative indoor merry-go-round in maybe, I don't know. I lost it. I lost it. It's out of my brain, but it's in Ohio. But if guess what, Marissa? If you check the map, we're going to have oddities and roadside attractions as its own category on the map. So you'll see all of the things there.
I love that. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite part about this season, I think, is that we're going to have this interactive, custom curated map that you can, our listeners, choose your starting point, build it however you'd like, remove some things, add some things, just create an exploration challenge for Ohio for yourself that has all these key spots. And you don't even have to knock it out in one go. Like, make this
No,
one
absolutely.
thing that you could do for the whole year, Say 2024, your bucket list is to, your resolution is to travel more. Start in your own home state. I feel like there's so
Yes.
many places that we don't really think about when we think of travel because we just want to get out of the state we're in, but there's so many cool places that I think deserve to be seen and appreciated.
Absolutely. And plus, I know that, financial investment is a real concern for people, and myself included. But if you just are driving through the state or across the state, I know that you have to consider car maintenance, gas, things like that. Obviously, sandwiches. But there's, it's an easy way to, like you said, get out of that state. Get out of the state you're in. Uh, I feel like that should be a tagline. Workshop it. Don't worry. But also, I will say if you navigate to the companion article and you'll see the map, and we also have some cool recommended lodging. And it's not just like, hey, stop at this brand name hotel. We do have some of those, but let me just give you a little tease. We have a castle. We have a floating house. We have tree houses. There's all kinds to see in this map. So this recommended lodging is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. I did actually. So yeah, I'm excited. And listeners, if you have any spots that we've left off, please comment, email, text. I know that we're going to have the phone number in the article. Let us know and we'll add it to the map. This can be an ongoing project that we can celebrate together and explore together. So,
Yeah, maybe even do a part two down the road. That could also be very cool.
yeah, I think so.
All right, so that wraps up Ohio. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to be covering an entirely different state. And we're also going to we'll let you know in the show notes the state that we're covering next week. We're also going to be posting on that state's Facebook page. So if you have any recommendations that you want us to cover this year in your home state, head on over to your state's Only in Your State Facebook page and drop some recommendations to us. We're also, you can reach us at the podcast email address that's in the
Mm-hmm.
show notes, or like Sarah said, the telephone number. We'd really, really love to hear from you guys. Let us know your recommendations for season 3.